Hi, everybody watching. My name's John Ego, and I'm here to do a presentation. Normally, whenever I would do a presentation, I would start with the topic. Today, I want to do things a little bit differently. I want to start with the name Dave Sanders. I want to know if anybody knows who Dave Sanders is, or Cassie Bernal, or Noah Polsner. Most people aren't going to recognize these names. When you hear Dave Sanders, obviously, you would probably think of the Chicken Man, right? Colonel Sanders. Unfortunately, that's not who I'm talking about. I'm going to throw some other names at you to see if maybe you notice their names or recognize them. Dylan Klebold, Eric Harris, and Adam Lanza. Unfortunately, if you do not know all three, you've probably heard of one. They are the Sandy Hook killer and also the Columbine shooting killers. During Columbine, 13 children lost their life, and in Sandy Hook, it was 26 kids. So I'm here to talk about how we take the murderers out of the media and start publicizing more of the victims and their stories. And doing research for this presentation, I've learned that pretty much the media is giving our children and youth a step-by-step guide on how to become a murderer. And most children are susceptible, teenagers especially, to wanting to relate to somebody. And in findings, they've learned that serial killings are contagious now. They give everybody a step-by-step guide on what to do. So I am here to try to push for the media to emphasize the victims' families, and not so much the murderer. I believe that we need to learn how to remove their names from the stories altogether. They don't need to be in the spotlight. I want to hear how Dave Sanders was a baseball teacher, or the basketball teacher, a softball coach, and I mean, he left behind his wife, his 4 kids, and 5 grandchildren. Nobody talked about that. Nobody talked about Cassie Bernal, 17-year-old girl who did youth practices at her church for the youth to try to teach them how to be better Christians. Nobody discusses poor Noah Posner, who is never going to see his 6th Christmas. But we know that Adam Lanza was sick. We knew he was ill and disturbed. Obviously, he is ill and disturbed. We don't need to hear about or emphasize him or idolize him anymore. I'm here to try to change the world into thinking, wouldn't it be nice to go to bed at night and when you're sitting there with your 4-year-old who's going to be starting kindergarten the next day, not to go over shooter training with them, not to explain what a jam block is and how to use it on a door. How about if the children could actually go to school and want to be a kindergartner? Like, they don't need to worry about somebody breaking in. We don't need to worry about the killers. Clearly, it's still going to happen. Unfortunately, that's the society we live in, but we need to teach these kids nowadays how to not do it, how to relate and speak out and do other things. There is the no notoriety campaign that is there now, and I believe that this is something that we need to push for. In finishing, number one action I would say is, if you haven't already, there's no more incentive than to sit down and watch the Columbine shootings with your children. That in itself will make you want to take the killers out of the media. Watching that live is heartbreaking. We need to start taking the murderers and stop making them martyrs. They are murderers. Why we are putting the spotlight on them is beyond me. We need to learn how to maybe contact our local media and ask them for their help in taking these killers out of the spotlight. It should be about the victims and the victims' families. Mostly, I would say, we know they are ill. We know that they're mental. Our children are vulnerable. They're susceptible. They are emotional, especially teenagers. We need to stop handing out blueprints to them on how to deal with things irrationally whenever they don't understand the longevity of their actions, if they would want to become a shooter like Dylan or like Eric. And most of all, we need to be a voice for the lost. Ironically, the only thing that we have left is media coverage of our victims, the 26 at Sandy Hook and the 13 at Columbine. So we need to be the voice for them and try to speak out on this matter to take the shooters out of the media. I want to hear more about the 18 other children that had lost their lives in Sandy Hook. I want to make them outspoken and speak for them. No more murderers into martyrs. Thank you.